Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. The leg's busted, so it's a lovely day as well. But it's let's stay in and make a video kind of day because the leg's busted. So here we are. Great Wall of China conspiracy theory is disturbing. Now I haven't watched this video. I kind of like start watching videos. I've only watched 32 seconds of this. I watch it on my telly as well, not my computer. So I watched 32 seconds and I kind of get the feel for it. But then again, I like to react, as I've said in previous videos, as we're hearing the information rather than knowing what it's going to say. So the reason was because I seen a video the other day about, and it was talking about, I think it's Tartaria or Tartaria, I think it is, and it's like a lost civilization or a lost continents, the crack with like Tartaria, which this video is maybe going to be about, but it might not be depending on what this guy's disturbing conspiracy theory is. But he started mentioning pyramids in China in the very start of the video, so I thought it was worth a view as well because we get to see some pyramids in China that I was unaware of, and many other people might be unaware of as well. That there's also pyramids in China, and by the looks of it, quite a few. And the thing I heard about Tartaria was that the Tartaria Empire were the ones who built the Great Wall of China, and it was actually to keep the Mongols and the Chinese out, I believe, of Tartaria, and not the other way around. And in some areas, it looks like it was built to keep something in China. So, and that was based on this conspiracy theory of Tartaria and a lost continent. And I thought it was very interesting, to be honest. And I would look into it at some point, and we'll look further into the Great Wall of China and all this sort of crack. And yeah, so this video is the Great Wall of China conspiracy theory is disturbing. So I thought it was possibly maybe this about them not being built by the Chinese or something. I don't know, but again, it could be a conspiracy theory I've never heard before. So it could be quite interesting to see what he's got to say as well. At the same time, if it isn't that Tartaria conspiracy theory and it's something else I possibly haven't heard of. So let's give it a whirl and see what's cooking.
I recently learned of a conspiracy involving the Great Wall of China that is so bizarre, I had to.
Oh, sorry. I'll just. It's the Bright Insight channel, 1.69 million subscribers. Give him a like. Yeah. So conspiracy theory, Great Wall of China, so bizarre.
Make a video on it. In fact, when it comes to ancient China in general, it's actually quite mysterious. In fact, few people are even aware that China has ancient pyramids. This is something that, of course, is public information, but few people are aware of just how many pyramids exist in China itself. But what's even more bizarre is just how many of them are forbidden from public visitation. Now, that's not to say that they are all prohibited from public visitation. But when you look at the fact that so few photos are available of many of these pyramids, in fact, many of them are old and grainy and blurry, and there's hardly very little information that's available to the public on them. And one of the things I argue on my channel is that pyramids themselves is evidence of a lost ancient civilization that spanned the continents, as I do not think that it is a coincidence that pyramids exist on 4 continents around the world. Now, many will dismiss that as to say that, hey, pyramids are something that children will build with blocks, and that it's the most simple structure in existence. You stack a layer and put another layer on top, and so on and so on. But that's not the case when we're discussing multi-ton stones. But regardless, the very fact that so little information is available on the pyramids of China, in fact, most of the images that you'll find are from satellite imagery. It is a fact that many of these pyramids are prohibited from public visitation, and that is.
So it looks like there's quite a lot in China, as he's saying here, and prohibited from visiting. But it doesn't look like there's a lot to some of them. But it's just China, isn't it? Maybe not allowed to do out, but or damage them. But yeah, so again, pyramids all over the world, as he mentioned, on all the continents. So it kind of like these people all knew each other, you know what I mean, and had some sort of travel to get around the world. Is that seems to be the crack.
is something that makes my conspiracy wheels go. But not only that, look at the fact that they literally covered them in dirt and planted trees on top of them. Not only will these trees
Well, maybe, or maybe it's like the Bosnia pyramid. Maybe they've just been hit by some sort of cataclysm and covered in dirt. Is another. I mean, it's bigger than you think. That's people on the top there. Um, yeah. So the other possibility is it's just been covered in dirt, as says the Bosnia one has.
destroy the ruins beneath them because of the way the roots will grow, but it's actually prohibiting us from seeing the pyramids themselves. Why would they do this? This is the same thing we've seen at Göbekli Tepe with trees planted on to the ruins, which many will say is not a conspiracy, but I'm not even going to get into that. The very fact that the pyramids of China have trees planted on top of them is just another example of either complete archaeological mismanagement or an attempt to hide them from the public. Now, that might sound a little bit crazy to some people, but I encourage you to research the pyramids of China yourself. Again, many of them have tremendous amounts of information available, but when you look at the fact that
Maybe something I'll do as well. Have a look into the China pyramids. I wasn't really aware of them, to be honest, but here we go.
hundreds of them exist, and so few of them are available to the public, it should make your eyebrow go up. Now, the topic of this video, like I said, is involving a conspiracy involving the Great Wall of China. Let me first mention a few interesting facts about this site to remind everybody. It is approximately 13,171 miles long.
Let's just take that in. 13,171 miles long. It's unbelievable, really. The total length of all sections of the Great Wall of China ever built adds up to 2,196 kilometers, 13,000 miles, including overlapping sections that were rebuilt, the wall constructing during the Ming Dynasty. The most well-preserved section is about 8,800, about 5.5 miles long. 13,171 miles. It's ridiculous in a way. Even in modern times, how long would it take us to construct a wall like the Great Wall of China? 13,000 miles long. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like to estimate a time frame of how long it would take to do such a thing, because every bit of terrain will need prepared as you go along, as we can see from the little picture here, across mountains and all sorts here. Yeah, so 30, I mean, that alone, I honestly never believed, I never knew it was that big. Like that's unbelievable. I mean, I think the length of Britain. Hold on a minute here. So here we see the length of Great Britain from Land's End. I've been to Land's End before. Never been to John O'Groats, top of Scotland here. Land's End, bottom of Cornwall. It's 874 miles, right? It's not even 1,000 miles from the top of Britain, the very, very top of Britain, to the very bottom of Land's End, which in a car would take you, Christ, how long would that take you in a car? Yeah, I wonder if we can see it on the map here. It'll give us a time frame for walking, etc., as it sometimes does. Tell us. No, well, it's from down here, this end, right up to up here, I believe. Is it up there? Up here somewhere, possibly. Yeah, but as you've seen, it's only 874 miles. And this Great Wall, 874 versus 13,000. So it's like 14 times the length of Britain. The Great Wall of China, 14 times the length of Britain. Fuck me, like that's immense, like absolutely immense. So imagine building a wall 14 times the length of Britain from top to bottom, and then how long would that take realistically? How long would it take to make one? Never mind 14. Like Jesus, like unbelievable. It's like So let's crack on.
which is approximately 21,196 kilometers. Unbelievable. It is literally the longest man-made structure in the world, and it was built over centuries. Construction was said to begin in the 7th century BC.
Built over centuries, like centuries, so it took hundreds of years to build, which you would imagine is correct, to be honest. Um, but why would you need to build a wall over hundreds of years as well, though? That's the other side of it. Unless there was some sort of, again, technology or something that could build it faster than we could, you know what I mean?
So 2,700 years ago, and finished into the 16th century AD. And it had multiple purposes. The wall was built not only for military defense, but also for controlling trade, immigration, as well as communication. And it's made of varied materials, whether it's local materials, including stone, brick, rammed earth, and wood. And even more interesting, there's more than 2,000 watchtowers and numerous gates that were built along the wall for surveillance, communication, and access control. And it's even said that the labor force, the estimates, suggest that hundreds of thousands to possibly millions of workers were involved in the construction of this wall. But not only that, some sections still remain hidden or buried, with estimates suggesting that up to 30% of the wall remains undiscovered. But here is something that a lot of people find surprising as well, is that a vast majority of the pictures that you'll find on the internet involving the Great Wall of China are all at the notable tourist locations, all of which have been restored. It's not until you go off the beaten path that you realize that a vast majority of the Great Wall of China is in ruins, shattered, and slowly decaying. And I want to give a big shout out to my...
I wonder, Wandering Wolf, we'll see what he says in a minute. I wonder if it was he said buried there, mentioned. I wonder if it was maybe even built before the cataclysm we've been talking about. The flood and a lot of it up high on mountains could survive, possibly. Yeah, but it was in ruin. A lot of it's in ruin, and we fixed it again. Something we fixed from the old days. And do we not know maybe when this was truly built, and are these estimates wrong? Maybe, who knows?
My buddy Michael Collins of the Wandering Wolf YouTube channel, who visited China personally, that's him, just a few years ago and explored the areas off.
So Wandering Wolf, another channel, and he explained, as he said there, I'll maybe have a look up the channel another time. I'll go to the channel, Wandering Wolf, and maybe some good information here about the Wall of China. As you can see, look, going all the way up here, like, unbelievable.
Off the beaten path. In fact, he entered the Great Wall of China 4 miles from the entrance. And keep in mind, there are numerous entrances. But it's once you get off the beaten path that you see how unbelievable this structure is and the level of decay that it has. Now, keep in mind the wall's average height is 20 to 30 feet, or 6 to 9 meters, and the wall's width varies between 15 to 30 feet, or 4.5 to 9 meters. And over 10 million people visit the wall annually. However, a vast majority of it is hardly ever visited at all. But as you look through these photos, I'm going to share as many of them as I can. One of the most astonishing things, other than the length of this wall, is the extent that they went to construct it over various steep hills and mountains. This wall is an unbelievable feat of human ingenuity and engineering, and it cannot be overstated just how
it is. To be 13,000 miles long is unbelievable, like absolutely unbelievable. I'm still in awe of that. I'm still in awe of how long this wall is, and I've never in my life been told at a time when I was old enough to realize the gravity of how big this wall is. 13,000 miles. Like, think a mile's long enough, do you know what I mean? A mile's not a short distance. 14 times the length of Great Britain. Unbelievable. Oh, no, fucked it and went right back to the start in awe of the wall. He's fucked it. Going back.
The wall annually. However, a vast majority of it is hardly ever visited at all. But as you look through these photos, I'm going to share as many of them as I can. One of the most astonishing things, other than the length of this wall, is the extent that they went to construct it over various steep hills and mountains. This wall is an unbelievable feat of human ingenuity and engineering, and it cannot be overstated just how impressive this is. I mean, we all grew up learning about the Great Wall of China, but I feel like through my studies on the topic of ancient history, it's seemingly been forgotten. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. It's been totally off my radar. And it wasn't until I had a live stream with Michael Collins that he informed me of the various conspiracies involving it.
Hey everybody, my name is Sam, aka Sam.
Hey Sam. I saw amazing, really, absolutely amazing how long it is, the effort that's been put into it. And yeah, he's kind of right. He kind of gets forgotten about. And again, I heard of this conspiracy with Tartaria, and involving sort of that, and the Great Wall of China was built by them. And as again, I don't know what this conspiracy theory is going to be, but again, all this so far has just been great information. To be honest, great information.
Now, let me real quick share the sponsor of this video, and then I'm going to share with you the conspiracy.
He's going to sponsor us to death. So let's not listen to that.
It wasn't until I had a conversation with Michael Collins involving his trip to China from a few years ago that I became aware of this conspiracy. And it involves two things. One of which is the fact that he literally was able to scale over this wall from the outside going in. I'll say that again, and keep in mind we don't have images of it.
So yeah, like already, he was able to scale this wall from outside going in. So it's like I was saying at the start of the video, and I've said in a previous video, it was more like built to keep something in China, not outside of China. And this is part of the Tartaria conspiracy.
Because he wasn't aware of what was happening while he was there. It wasn't until after the fact that it came to his awareness of just how astonishing this fact is, which is that you can climb over various parts of the Great Wall of China from the outside going in, which makes absolutely no sense on earth if this wall was constructed to keep people out, as of course we were all taught in school. But not only that, the various arrow slits that are found throughout the wall are also found facing the inside rather than the outside. And many areas of the wall have the arrow slits facing both ways, which they say was to help with the defenses. However, what Mike witnessed firsthand was that there was vast portions of the wall that where the arrow slits were only facing the inside, not the outside.
So yeah, it's kind of like it was built, as I said at the start. I didn't know this is what it was going to be about, but I thought it maybe was because it's a conspiracy theory involving the Great Wall of China, and it's one I'd heard of late myself. So yeah, and there's a bit of backing as well that this guy's been there. He could climb over, and it's even the arrow slits are on the wrong side. They're facing they're facing into China, and this guy could climb over the wall on the other side, but he couldn't from the China side. So it is like it was not built by the Chinese and built by somebody else to keep the Chinese or whatever was in China, be it dragons or something, who knows, out of wherever. So yeah, that's kind of the theory. That's the conspiracy theory, and a bit of backing here from the channel Wolf something.
Which, in other words, is indicative that the wall may have been constructed to keep their people inside, unable to leave, rather than keeping outsiders from coming in. Which to me is one of the most disturbing things I've heard. If that is indeed the case, which again, guys, think about.
But he's maybe got the wrong end of the stick. And he still thinks the Chinese built it when possibly it wasn't the Chinese who built it.
About this for a second. If you're able to easily climb over the wall from the outside in, whereas on the inside going out it's noticeably steep, maybe we should consider the possibility that this wall was constructed for much more sinister reasons than we had imagined. Now, this of course will be highly debated.
I mean, it's a possibility as well. That's something I'd never thought of because I'd heard it from the Tartarian conspiracy theory. But yeah, maybe the Chinese did construct it and it was to keep their people in, possibly. But at the same time, why would you go to such effort to build such a long wall to keep your own people in? It doesn't hold a lot of weight. It holds a lot more weight in a military aspect of trying to keep something. I mean, what are the Chinese people going to do? You know what I mean? Just why are they all just going to run away? Everybody, well, it's like where they're going to go. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's more like it was built for a military but the military purpose doesn't seem to serve the Chinese. So it's kind of, is there a possibility the Chinese didn't build it and it was to keep them out of somewhere else, and it could be the Tartarian conspiracy. We'll continue on with what he's going to say and see if he maybe gets to that. But doesn't make a lot of sense to keep your own people in mass and use your own people to build a wall to enslave your people. I mean, well, the people, I mean, don't get me wrong, would still build it if they were told to do so and paid to do so. But if they knew it was to keep them in and they were building a wall to keep them all in, you think they might see through the plan slightly, you know what I mean? They were like, hold on a minute here. We're building a wall to keep us all in here, so what's going to happen? Well, you know what I mean? So it adds a bit of weight to that it was possibly built by someone else.
I'm not saying it's a total fact, but what I am sharing is that people who have gone to this site, who I trust, have visited it in the complete remote regions of it, witnessed firsthand that they were easily able to climb over the wall from the outside going in. Think about that. And the very fact that there's arrow slits facing the inside rather than the outside, I mean, come on. So this is something that I have to go and visit myself, because I cannot begin to tell you how difficult it is to find information involving the remote areas of the Great Wall of China.
Of course, it's China. So, conclusion. I'm not going to listen to his conclusion, although there is more pictures, because I already know his conclusion is based on China building the wall and trying to keep its people in, which I'm not really a fan of. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me already. That, I mean, I'll have to play a little bit, I suppose. Yeah.
Try it for yourself. Try Googling this topic and see how difficult it even is to find pictures of the remote areas of the Great Wall. Yes, you'll find some photos, as I did too. But when we're talking about a structure that's over 13,000 miles long and has so few photos available, at least in that regard, and again, most all of the photos are from the notable tourist locations which have been restored. You see, it's the more that I study the topic of ancient history that I learn that there are so many details involving various structures around the world that just don't add up to the things that we were taught in school. You've all heard me talk about...
Well, that's where we are, mate. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're looking at. It's none of a lot of it doesn't make sense, doesn't fit in, and again, the Great Wall of China being 13,000 miles long kind of doesn't fit in either, really. Like, we're not building walls of such magnitude now, you know what I mean? It's. I mean, I don't know how big Trump's wall was actually, but I don't think it was it 13,000 miles. So, and how long did it take to build if it was? And so it's just again, it's and apparently these people were primitive, you know what I mean? They're building walls 13,000 miles long, kind of suggests you weren't in a way. So yeah, well, I'll leave it there for this guy because his theory is based on sort of China building the wall to keep its people in, which I already believe in, and it maybe gives a bit more weight to this Tartaria crack in a way, which I'll cover in another video, and we'll have a look at this Tartaria or Tartaria. I'm sure it's Tartaria, like a lost continent or something that's been covered up in history, and it's on some maps apparently, and. Yeah, interesting stuff, to be honest. Interesting. Don't know if it to be true or not. But it linked into the China. It linked into the Great Wall of China because apparently the Great Wall of China was the boundary of Tartaria. I heard in this conspiracy that I've seen. So, and did they build it to keep the Chinese out? And they had a good technology, and obviously, were managed to build the wall. Is kind of the theory it was saying. So I'll have a look at it anyway. I'll cover it in a video and we'll see what we think of Tartaria and that crack. And did they build the Great Wall of China? And is it not the Great Wall of China, but the Great Wall of Tartaria, possibly? So yeah, interesting. But found out a little bit there about pyramids and the fact that you can get it kind of proved what I was saying, that the Great Wall of China was built to keep something into China, not the other way around, like we've been told. So what was it keeping in? And if it was the Chinese people, why would the Chinese government, so to speak, or the emperor, build a big wall to keep his own people in? It seems a bit drastic, and 13,000 miles long, you know what I mean? That's very drastic indeed. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, that. It doesn't make any sense at all. So it kind of, there's something else going on here with the Great Wall of China, and I think this video sort of proved it, with Lado saying you can climb over it from the outside, but you can't from the Chinese side. So it's kind of improved there. It's just as to why we need to figure out why now. But is it the Tartaria thing again? I'll get to that in another video. I'll leave it there, people. Peace. Press the wrong button, so double peace.